Hello, I'm Fast Lawyer. Today we're going to review Broken Spectre VR, a game released on the Steam Store August 19th, 2023 by developer Games by Stitch. It normally retails for $11.99. I did buy this game and I tested it out on the Meta Quest 3 using link cable. Broken Spectre is a horror walking simulator. Specifically, it's a narrative-driven cosmic horror, body horror experience. And this is a rather unique game because on Steam VR, this actually uses hand tracking. Now, I can only confirm this works on the Meta Quest 3 using link cable. And the hand tracking here is not just a gimmick, but an immersive part of the experience. And in my humble opinion, this is the best hand tracking game bar none, just due to how immersive the hand tracking is done here. The hand tracking does not handicap the gameplay. The devs were very creative in its use, and unlike a lot of other games, the hand tracking here does not stop you from playing the game. In fact, it only adds to the immersion. And if you're a VR veteran like me and you're looking for something different, something unique, then I can definitely recommend this game for you. And in a lot of ways, this game reminds me of What Remains of Edith Finch, not just because it's a walking simulator, but because it's very creative in incorporating the gameplay into making the narrative an immersive experience. So let's talk about Broken Spectre and why I'm highly recommending it. First of all, Broken Spectre is running on the Unity engine. On my RTX 3080, I was getting mostly 90 frames per second. I did not experience any serious issues or bugs. The game does have generous automatic checkpoints, but you can definitely finish the game in one sitting. It took me about 98 minutes to complete the game, and that's probably the biggest negative about this game, is that I wanted it to be longer. But on the other hand, it does feel like the normal length of a horror film, so the 98 minutes wasn't really a problem for me because it is a complete story. There were a few minor technical issues, again very minor. Probably my biggest complaint other than the length is just the turning. There is a snap turn where you use your thumb, and basically you point your thumb either left or right to turn left or right, but it just feels kind of cumbersome because a snap turn is a very small degree of turn, so it's just very slow to turn in the direction that you want. So you may consider turning off snap turning and just turning in real life. Plus, there is another reason why you might want to play this game standing versus seated, and I don't want to give spoilers, so I'm going to be very vague about this, but there is this one section where you have to reach out with your hand and something will happen to your hand, but it might be difficult to reach where you need to if you play seated, and it might just be difficult at all to see what's going on unless you play standing and kind of crouch a little bit to get a better view of what's about to happen. And no spoilers, but yeah, it's going to be terrifying. And possibly the last critique I can give this game is the visuals. This is obviously a Quest port, and this game was built for the hand tracking of the Meta Quest 3. It's a miracle this thing works on Steam VR, but it is a very stylistic art style, and while it's definitely not on par with Red Matter, and if you read anything about Red Matter, you know that they customized the Unreal Engine in order to get those visuals looking really good on the Meta Quest 3. Well, that's not going to happen for most Meta Quest games, so for a Meta Quest game, I think it looks just fine. Would I prefer higher resolution textures? Would I prefer more polygons? Sure. So while this doesn't look like a PC VR original, it's fine for a Quest port. Despite the visuals, this does have very good voiceovers along with a good musical soundtrack. The voice actors did a great job. The story is well written and well paced, and this game oozes atmosphere. This is a narrative driven game and the story is the star here. As you guys know, I don't like to do spoilers at all, so I'm going to keep this very vague. But basically 25 years ago, your father climbed up a mountain and never came back. Now he's calling for you. And it is cosmic horror in the sense that it feels like you're almost destined to go back up this mountain. And as you guys know, I'm not normally a fan of nodal teleportation along with snap turning only. However, in this game, it kind of goes along with the narrative. Again, you have limited choices. You're predestined to go up this mountain. The nodal teleportation here makes complete sense, both narrative speaking and gameplay wise. There's also some body horror that I can absolutely not show on on this YouTube video, but I will say it is pretty gnarly. In fact, there's a lot of gameplay that I chose not to show just because I didn't want to ruin the experience for you guys. It's just something that you'll have to experience for yourself. But there's some very immersive interactions in this game where they made hand tracking an essential part of the game. I do not recommend using motion controllers. You do have the option of using motion controllers, but do not use them. And at the end, this is not just a great horror story that's well told and well paced and very atmospheric, but it's also a very smart use of hand tracking and immersing you into the story even further. As I mentioned earlier, I think this is the best hand tracking game I've ever played and one of the best walking simulators in VR, if not the best. So I highly recommend this game. If I have to rate it, I would give it an excellent 8 out of 10. It is one of the most unique experiences in VR. I think it paves the way forward for future hand tracking games, and it gets me excited for the future of VR and hand tracking. Anyways, I'm Fast Lawyer. This has been my review for Broken Spectre. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, have a wonderful day and enjoy the rest of the video.
We are the chosen. Chosen for what?
Don't follow him! I need a fire. I need to get warm. It's so cold. This won't last. That's everything. With this over the fire, I can thaw the letterbox.
Grant? Is that you? The search party, they never came back.